What's up guys, Commander Alex here, and today we're going to be playing some Vainglory, and I am going to be playing as Celeste and Lane. We're going to be doing a little bit of a guide video today, and I was actually trying to record a change in the meta video before this. I recorded like 3 different games, but it was not working. I was trying Lane Catherine, and I know it sounds stupid, but it's kind of a counter to Blackfeather because of the fact that her shield can reflect his execute, which means that he can kind of like kill himself by accident, which is really cool. But the games were not going well. I was getting some trolley teammates, I was getting some teammates that didn't know what they were doing, and then I had games where I was just throwing. I mean, it was just, the games were not working out. So we're going to try on my alt a little bit of an easier game where I can just go through exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing here, and hopefully it'll be information for you guys. This was requested in the comments, so if you guys have a request for the next guide video, just again, request in the comments, and I might pick yours. There you go. So as far as builds go with Celeste, if you're going against a really annoying enemy laner, you can go for a first item defense, but generally you want to start battery. I've seen people go for the crystal bit, which is a little bit more aggressive, but you tend to run out of energy, honestly. I've had okay luck with it. If you're really stringent about using your stars, you can do okay with it, but you don't really want to go for something that is so aggressive with a late game hero when it comes to your first item. As far as builds go, I'm going to be going for a Frostburn first item, just so that it's a little bit easier to hit my Novas, because the real damage in Celeste isn't in her stars, it's in her Novas. If you know what that means, her star, when you drop it, is just a star, and then when you drop a star on top of it, it Novas and basically explodes, which is really cool, and it also is a lot of extra damage. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I'm actually going to just farm from a distance here. I'm going to sit a little bit higher up so that if they try to gank me, I'll have a little bit more advanced warning, and I do have my stun up, which I'm very itchy to use, so if they gank me, I'll be able to throw that down, and that should be it. At least that's how I'm hoping it will go. Shit, didn't mean to drop that there. It looks like Arden is here, so I am going to back off just to be safe. Drop a star in that bush. Looks like he's gone now, and now we can basically just farm from a distance. Going against a Ringo, he is going to beat me in the early game, but I'm definitely going to beat him in the late game, and assuming I don't screw up my farming too poorly, I should be able to kind of hit that power spike by about 15 minutes into the game. Sometimes earlier, sometimes later, but that's generally about when Ringo starts to just not do as much damage as me in any regard, and I can outplay him. Also, the fact that I have a stun in my kit allows for pretty good play potential, whereas Ringo, he's a very point and click sort of champion. Yes, it takes skill to use him, but it's a lot different type, and it's generally a lot easier if you're a new player. So if you're looking for like an easy champion to play, tend to kind of not look at skill shot champions and a lot of utility champions, just because they take a lot more skill, because you need to know exactly when to stun, stuff like that, and skill shots obviously are harder to hit in the beginning of the game. So if you're a newer player, stick to like Ringo, things like that, who are just not things like that, just heroes that are a little bit more straightforward to play, if that makes sense. But maybe you have the skill, maybe you want to play it, you can play skill shot champions. They are a lot of fun, just a little more skill involved in using them, as the name would suggest, skill shot, Alright, so we can just farm from a distance, as I said. The Ringo, let's check our CS for a second, 34 to 35, so we're keeping up with Ringo and CS. I'm not CSing amazing this match. Missed a couple that I definitely shouldn't have, but I'm going to try and buckle down here. Hopefully we can get a pretty good CS advantage. I'm going to ping that Ringo is MIA, just so that if my team is thinking about invading, they know not to. And it looks like Ringo is actually just in the bush, so it's always good to ping MIA if you don't see your enemy laner for like a couple of seconds. Even if it's just a fake one, it'll make sure that your jungle doesn't accidentally invade into 3 men, which is generally just going to be a slaughter. So just something to keep in mind. This Ringo is using the Fog of War fairly well, though. He's bobbing in and out of it, so I'm pinging MIA when he may still be here, which while it's false information, it's better than them maybe going into a 3-man. So it's generally just it's good to ping it unless like you're just pinging it constantly and you know that he's just messing with you. It's a good thing to do. Alright, so we totally missed that stun there. Enemy team, CP Taka, and we have a support Finn. I really like going against a Finn as a Celeste just because it makes hitting my skill set so much simpler. He's so slow that he really can't dodge anything you throw at him unless he gets tier 3 boot, well tier 2 boots probably. But at that point, you know, with a Frostburn, you should be able to land everything on him. I'm farming with my Heliogenesis a lot more than I probably should, which is kind of putting a drain on my energy supply, but it's also, I don't know about this one. Tried it, we got the boots out of him. If I landed the stun, maybe we could have picked something up there, but I don't think so. I'm going to try to refrain from using my Heliogenesis so that I can get some energy back. Looks like Taka is here. He was probably waiting for me to overextend. Good thing that I didn't. And as far as ability maxing, just a little time to note. Max your A first, max your B second, and leave your ult at 2 points. A lot of people like to max their ult, and I understand why. It seems like it's a lot of damage, but the cooldown and utility on your B is much more useful. I started out maxing my ultimate, but I talked to a bunch of pro players about it, and they all basically said the same thing, that your ult, it scales with damage, and getting the extra stars on the side tend to not do that much because you're usually using it to snipe someone from across the map. You're not using it, you know, for the AoE damage unless it's like in the middle of a fight, which, you know, the stun is generally still going to be more useful then. Alright, so the enemy team seems to be spending a lot of time in lane, so I started there for a little bit. I'm going to drop my stun there. It's not going to work out. Good thing that... Nah, I'm dead. That's just really rough. Against a team like this with a CP Taka and Ringo, it's going to be really rough to stay alive. I am going to pick up a reflex block, which is going to be useful, but I don't know, how useful that's going to be. I'm also going to pick up an Eve of Harvest so I can sustain in lane. I thought I was going to go Frostburn first, but I actually changed my mind, and the reason for that is that I'm having a really just pretty chill lane. Like, he's not going in for the kill or anything, and I'm not really able to get an advantage on him because of that. Like, if we were trading a lot, I would go for the Frostburn because it's actually better in fights, but since we're not, I just want to go for the general sustain, and that's going to be the Eve of Harvest. Oh, I thought he was going to catch it over. Okay, I can actually use my ranked up Heliogenesis now to farm a little. Okay, we got ourselves in a okay situation here. I think we should be fine. I'm just going to continue to chase this guy because I don't see any reason not to. Throw the stun down. Okay, he did get hit by it, which is going to mean he's a little bit slowed. I'm actually going to pop my pot now, and the reason for that is that I wanted to make sure my energy stayed topped off. I'm going to keep out of the center of this fight, mostly for the Taka. It looks like he Kai-10'd over, and he isn't going to go down. That kind of sucks. We did get the Cruel, or rather the Finn. I'm actually going to head around back this way to see if he's possibly... No, he's not. Alright. I was hoping that maybe he would try and farm and get kind of greedy, but he's actually not, so... we took their backs. It's okay. Could have gone a little bit better, but we didn't lose anything for it, which is all I'm really concerned about. Whew, lucky that he didn't go in on me there. If he had, he probably would have been able to kill me. I'm taking a lot of damage right now. We're gonna go for tier 2 boots and an Eclipse Prism, and now we're gonna head to lane. As far as the enemy team, Ringo has built some defense. Gonna have to keep that in mind. It'll not do that much. I mean, it's just tier 1 shielding, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. If your enemy laner starts counter building you, building that shield pierce earlier is definitely something you want to do. So if he starts buying that tier 2 shielding, I'm probably going to go for an early Broken Myth. Generally, I like to go Frostburn Broken Myth, but if he starts building that much, I will completely just change my build and go for the Broken Myth before the Frostburn. Alright, so working on the minion, it all up, another point into my B, and okay. I was thinking maybe he would get low from it. He didn't really though. Frostburn is going to be my next item. Crystal Bit is going to be coming up here. That's going to go into a Broken Myth. I do go, usually it's Frostburn, Broken Myth, Eve of Harvest, but I actually switched up this time and I went Eve of Harvest, Frostburn, Broken Myth. And the reason for that is that I wasn't really fighting that much. I was more just taking a little poke here and there. I should have reflex blocked that. That's on me there. Yeah, I was taking a little poke here and there, and I wanted to just keep myself topped off with the Eve of Harvest. Okay, so my team did manage to clean up there because of the Breaking Point Cruel. That's going to kind of be how this game goes. I'm basically just a decoy right now for the Ringo ult and for Taka's combo because I'm an easy kill for them. They can kill me with very little effort, which is good for them, but it also means that they're going to blow all that on me, and hopefully my Cruel is going to be able to stay alive long enough that he'll be able to clean up the fight. So I'm actually going to probably head down here, and I'm actually going to buy some shielding. I'm going to sell my pots and buy some shielding. I'm going to buy an Atlas and hopefully, not an Atlas, an Aegis, and hopefully I'll be on point next time and be able to reflex block the Ringer ult, because that was pretty rough for me there. Honestly, if I had reflex blocked it, we might have been able to survive. It wouldn't have been amazing, but we might have been able to survive there. So we'll head back up into lane here. We're 2-2, not doing amazing, but again, we're kind of just the decoy in this sort of team comp. If it was more of a, if the enemy team had more of a like straightforward comp where like you fight them, they fight us, whoever has more damage comes out ahead, then I would be more of an artillery mage where I would just be throwing damage into them, hopefully trying to kill them from a distance. But with this sort of comp, I know that I'm going to get blown up pretty much no matter what I do, so I'm just going to try and make that last as long as possible to give Cruel the time to get his breaking point stacks. Alright, so we're at 107 farm, the Ringo is at 76 farm, we're beating him pretty handily. So is our jungle, though not quite as much, they're just up by about 10. Oh, oops. That was good stuff. Not sure if you really needed ult for that, but I mean, there's no harm in doing it. Taka going on to our Cruel. He's going to get taken low. He's going to go down there. Now it's time for Finn to go down. This is probably going to be an ace, maybe? We'll see. It is going to be an ace, which is good. And now we can pretty much just shove through the lane. They're taking my farm in lane right now, but I'm okay with that. Just because in situations like this, you want to get the minions to the turret as quick as possible, and that means don't care who takes your farm, just get the minions to the turret. Because once they come back up like now, it's going to be a lot harder to push the turret. Now keep in mind, it's only Ringo right now, so it's not a super big deal. But if it was like the entire enemy team spawn, because we get the minions there fast enough, it'd be a whole different story. I'm going to actually ult right now. That did a lot of... Wow, that did a lot of damage. That's going to force Ringo back to base, I think. Alright, I got that. Thank you for letting me take that Cruel. He's probably not too happy about it, but it did give me energy regen, which is really useful. He can have that, and he can have this. I'm going to ping him to take it. Cruel, take it. Do you want it? There we go. Just want to make sure, because like I don't want to make him pissed off that I'm taking some of his jungle farm, but at the same time, that was needed for me so that I could top off my energy. Alright, so we can pick up our Aegis here, and now we have a couple options. I'm actually going to go for a little bit more damage, and the reason for that is because A, I want to finish my Broken Myth. I've delayed it way longer than I probably should have, but B, also, I don't want to go for like a lot of cooldown reduction, because I'm probably not going to get more than a few Heliogenesis off before I die in these fights. Excuse me, I have hiccups. Before I die in these fights, so I kind of just want to get as much damage out in those few Heliogenesis as I can, rather than trying to get more Heliogenesis out, because I'm not going to be able to. I'll just be dead before I can. So cooldown reduction, not really what I'm looking at right now. If I was going for more of a sustained fight deal, I might go for like a Clockwork. It's an okay item, but I wouldn't personally recommend it. I like going for more high damage, less cooldown reduction on Celeste, and they're probably in this bush. Yep. Figures. Okay, we did block the ultimate there, that's good. Harden went in for some reason. Looks like the spin's gonna go down. I'm actually just gonna focus on the spin. I'm gonna ult through him to get the kill, and it looks like he actually got an ace because my ulted through him to kill the Ringo. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but it actually ended up doing enough damage even with just the lead star, so pretty awesome there. Yeah, that was just a really nice kill, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it to go quite so well. Enemy team's going to be up soon. They're probably right. We could have taken another turret if they were with me, but they're not, so I don't want to try and test my luck there. We'll just back up, bye, and be on our way here. Alright, so next buy is going to be the Broken Myth right there. And now we kind of have an option. We can go for more damage, or we can go a little bit tankier. We're on the offensive right now, but I don't feel like we're strongly on the offensive, so I'm actually going to go for some more defense. This is going to turn into a fountain, and hopefully with all of the shielding I'll be able to block the Taka burst, and then with my reflex block I'll be able to block the Ringo ultimate, and then those combined should keep me alive. At least that's the idea. Alright, so we got a Taka right here. Going to ult him, and I'm going to completely miss. That was really bad leading. I should have understood that he was going to unstun and then move forward. I probably should have adjusted for that, but you know, it works out. It's perfectly fine. Let's drop a star. Nobody's in there. Always good to just check bushes. Every once in a while you'll find someone out of position, pick up an easy kill. As far as, oh, here we go. He had to burn his boots. There you go. Find somebody out of position, burn their boots. Good stuff. Also, if you guys don't know, even if you don't actually pick a fight, burning someone's boots is really important because it sets you up to win the next fight. Into the late game, it doesn't matter quite as much. Shit. Okay, so Cruel's not here, which is not good. I used my reflex block early, which is going to mean that I'm not really in any position to defend this, but I don't want them to see that we're doing Kraken, so I'm actually going to, funny enough, probably end up killing myself. Oh wait, Cruel turned off a Kraken. I was actually going to go into them so that they didn't check the tri-bush and therefore wouldn't understand that we were going for Kraken, but it looks like that's not going to happen. Instead, we're just going to pick up the ace, and me and Cruel should be able to do this all on our own pretty easily here, so good stuff there. I'm really tanky enough at this point that they can't kill me, which is useful. Their whole strategy was based around just trying to burst me out and then turn it into a 3v2. But because I built enough shield, I actually allowed my team to get time into the fight, and that was all Cruel really needed to get going there. So really interesting sort of game. Normally I go for a lot less shielding, but you know, based against this type of comp, it just sort of made sense. As far as the enemy team goes, we can see it's a CP Taka. I don't recommend CP Taka. The damage is lackluster unless you have quite a bit of CP, and even if you have the damage, it's on really long cooldowns, so you can really only get 1 or 2 bursts in a fight. So you can do it, but it's just not that great in my opinion. Then we have the Ringo. The Ringo on the enemy team, aside from a few minor things, he built pretty well. He knew what he was doing. I'm actually very impressed with how he played, and he was even building into an Aegis, which is good considering the amount of damage I was doing. So he was definitely building correctly there. The enemy team's Finn, really good. He did build that Atlas, but honestly, I didn't really see him use it in any useful situation, so I think he was good, but he probably should have remembered to use that Atlas. Even I sometimes forget to use it. I'm pretty notorious for it actually, but no, it's definitely an item that once you get the hang of it and know exactly when to use it, it's great counter to Cruel. So if you guys are having trouble with Cruel, just kind of keep an eye on that item and figure out how to use it, because once you do, you're definitely going to have an easier time against him. As far as my team goes, we have Arden. Standard stuff. Arden actually built really well. The only thing that I really don't understand is the Atlas. Now the Atlas is good, but it's a reduction to attack speed, and Ringo can't, basically you can't reduce someone below 100% or their base attack speed. So taking the Atlas Pauldron isn't useful against this team because nobody has built attack speed, if that makes sense. So take Atlas Pauldron only if the enemy team has built attack speed. Alright, moving on here we have Cruel. He built well. Probably could have gone a little bit more tanky, but for the most part he played really well, and he actually went flawless in this game, so big props to him. And you have me. I was kind of the punching back at the beginning of the game until I got quite a bit of shielding, and became actually fairly hard to kill for the enemy team's Taka and Ringo. So that was really cool. As far as the build goes, standard stuff, those 3 CP items are the main items you want to build. Depending on the game, you can build them in different orders. Sometimes starting Frostburn is better, sometimes starting Broken Myth is better, sometimes starting Eve of Harvest is better. That's all just kind of dependent on the game that you're having, but those are the 3 items that you generally want to build all the time. You can switch out the Frostburn for a Shadow Glass if you want that extra damage, but generally the Frostburn's a better pick just because the Frostburn allows you to basically get your Novas on them, because the first hit is going to slow them, the second hit is then going to explode and deal that extra damage. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscription, and become a lieutenant today, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. See ya.